Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient AM86A, our favorite Subaru Outback LL Bean. We have an inspection over here and the customer states vehicle is missing on a cylinder dash dash dash. Code P0306 present, cylinder 5 misfire. Nope. P0306 is cylinder 6 misfire, which is statistically the most common on these, but not limited to. Sometimes it's cylinder 5, sometimes it's cylinder 1, and sometimes it's multiple cylinders just randomly misfiring. But 6 is definitely the most common. So let's give it a quick IC608 job and be done with this one. No prior repair attempt, so that's good. Only 2 ECMs this week, so that's good. Actually, I was thinking I have, because I also received one ECM that I'm gonna send back as soon as I find out who sent it and track what were we talking about regarding that ECM, because only one came in, so it's not for cloning, but I don't know what the problem with it is, number one, and number two, it's one of those in a metal case glued with silicone, very difficult to open, and once you open it you have access only to one side of the board. So I don't really fix those. I do clone them sometimes if I have to, but I prefer not because it's way too much work to open them. And stuff can go wrong. And one time I broke 2 of them. So it's not worth it in my view. So if this was an eBay purchase, I'm just gonna refund the order and send it back. If it wasn't, then I'm just gonna send it back. Too bad. Actually, all of these that I received this week, none of them had any markings inside to help me match it to the order. But luckily the name, one of them, like this one, had the business card inside. That's how I matched it. Because the name on the shipping was absent, no name on the shipping label, right? So that is sometimes in a hassle. Actually, often, very often times, it's a hassle to find the owner. So basically, just 2 of them. Actually, one came in for cloning, but we're also going to fix fix the ECM. That was the one I was talking about last time, that the customer got the replacement and wants it cloned, but described the issue to me, and the issue is IC608. So we're gonna fix it so he has a spare, which is always good to have, in my view. But I was thinking, since not a lot, so I already did all the boards, the motherboards, and now these 2 ECMs pretty much, and we're done for this weekend. So maybe, just maybe, I'll get to have a Sunday off. Or, well, we'll see, because I do have the laptop I've been just kind of neglecting, because there was always something more pressing, and the customer doesn't seem to be in rush for it, because I don't receive any questions or any requests for updates or anything like that. So probably it's not a pressing matter, but it's been quite a few weeks now, so I should get it finalized. But that one is a tricky CPU swap problem, right? So it's not that easy. So, but first, all I have to do, step 1, is to just find a stencil, and that's for some reason is taking me so long. So no, probably no Sunday off, most likely, but we'll see. I am kind of tired, like overall tired, It's like this kind of tired that never goes away, when you're just overworked. But as long as the work is getting done and customers are happy, I don't mind being a little overworked. Um, every time or every when I go to bed, right, at night, and I usually go to bed pretty early because I have to wake up very early, right? But I like to just review my day before I actually fall asleep, right? That's my activity when I'm trying to fall asleep, right? I just review my day. I just think about what I'm gonna do tomorrow, what went well, like kind of a daily retrospective kind of thing. That definitely helps with if because if you go to bed early, then it might be a little difficult to fall asleep. That is, I think, natural. So that's a good routine that puts me to bed. And if I take a day off, then I can't do that because what did I do today? Nothing. Which probably is not too healthy either, because you do need a break from time to time. And especially this week, this upcoming week, is gonna be my first on-call shift. A lot of companies do that, and if the market was different, I would just decline, you know, because it's not like you get paid extra for that, and you have to remain available, right? It's not like you have to do a lot of work or anything, but if the alert comes in, you do have to take a look at it and either escalate it or maybe do something. But at the minimum, you just have to assess whether it should be escalated or not. So it's not like it's a lot of work or anything. But from the standpoint of a principal, this is work extra. And in my previous jobs, I've had I have had to do that a lot, right? Like be available on weekends and that kind of stuff, work late hours and stuff. And one time I refused to do it because it was Friday, like 10 p.m. or something like that. I had a few beers, I was hanging out, and I said, no, I'll take a look at it tomorrow or something. And I did look at it the next day and stuff. But the bosses really didn't like that, and I got laid off shortly after that. Well, maybe not shortly, but essentially I got laid off. Maybe not because of that, but my point is that you go extra mile for the company you work for, and and at the end of the day, they, as soon as I don't know the muff is not muffing or the project fell through or anything like that, then you're the first one to be cut off. Like, yeah, thank you for your service, goodbye. All right, and then you feel stupid that you put in so much work, extra work into that job, and you've been available for all weekends, and you worked so much overtime, and one day, thank you, here's your severance, if you even get severance, and and that's it, and you're done. So nowadays I just treat it more like yeah, I work there now, but at any day, any time, they can just drop me, and no hard feelings on either side, right? But for the same reason, I don't want to get too invested, right? Now, I'm not gonna go extra mile. Of course, I'm gonna do my due diligence very well, to the best of my abilities and stuff, sure. But I'm not gonna go above and beyond. I'm just getting too old for that, and yeah, it's not necessarily reciprocal. Not that I'm complaining about my current job, not at all. It is kind of a hassle driving to the office on almost every day. I replaced the converter on my car, but it's still. I think I should be able to pass emissions. I'm pretty sure I will, because it can run for a while before the code comes back. And I noticed that the code comes back only when I drive uphill, just in one spot. So I can make it to the office with no codes, but as soon as I leave the office and there's an uphill road that I have to take, on that road always code comes back. So with that, I'm pretty sure I should be able to pass pass emissions, but that means that it's probably a final year I'm gonna be driving this car, and I gotta find something different. I was thinking of Mazda B2600 because I think on these 91, 92, on these you don't have to do emissions. They're exempt because they're too old. I think they just don't report that data. That's why. So that would be pretty sweet, and the parts are not too expensive for it, and they're rather available, and it should be relatively easy to repair. So maybe I'll just go that route, and we'll see. My wife been sending me the links to like 2015, 2016 Subarus, right? And I would love to, but it's like $8,000, 8,500, something like that. Maybe you can get it down to 75, but I can't afford that. That's a lot of money to drop for a car. But on the other hand, if I don't have a car, I can't drive to the office, which means I can't make money. So it's kind of important. Do you see the problem here? What is it with those chips nowadays? It's like the second one with corroded pad, and I'm running out of replacement. So, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like, and maybe that's cylinder 6, could be, but it's corroded as hell. If that's cylinder 6, that was the problem. But sometimes you can't really see any corrosion or anything, and it just doesn't work. But this one definitely, this is corroded, which is weird. Why would it corrode? Well, what are you gonna do? Hi. Well, anyways, I have to figure out the car. I don't really like driving, but I have to do so much driving. So I would like, if you guys can recommend some cheap car, something that I can get for maybe up to like 3,500, right? And something that gets good mileage, right? It's relatively easy and relatively easy to repair with metric bolts, not imperial, and no turbo, no anything difficult to maintain. Just the easiest to maintain car with relatively good mileage and cheap. I don't know if this exists. If I can find anything like that, but I would love to. Not that I don't like my Subi, but it's becoming too much of a hassle. And it's a big car, relatively, right? I don't need a big car like that. It's a big engine, 3-liter engine. It's a little bigger than I need. I don't need anything powerful. The mileage on mine is, I can get like 24, 25 maybe. When I drove to Georgia from Wyoming, I got average mileage or miles per gallon to 32, I think, which is good. But that's only because I was driving like an old lady on cruise control pretty much the whole way, and I don't remember, like 68 miles an hour, something like that. So I wasn't speeding or anything. And most of that drive was flat terrain. right? Once you leave Wyoming, you go through Nebraska and you know, Iowa. Those are flat plains over there, so it, you know, you don't burn that much gas because there's not enough hills and stuff. But then you have to go through Appalachian Pass, so it's, you know, kind of evens out. But on average, when I checked the mileage after that drive, it was 30, I think 32, 31, 32, something like that, which typically you don't get on that car. It kind of how you drive massively impacts your gas mileage. Nothing you didn't know before, but you can see how massively it can impact it on, you know, long hauls. That was over 2,000 miles that I drove, 3 days. That was quite an achievement for me because I don't really drive, or before then, I didn't drive much, and I don't really enjoy driving that much. It's just tiring to me. I know some people do enjoy driving by itself, and some people just are truckers and stuff, and they drive a lot. They cover a lot of miles. That's not me. I could never be a trucker. Well, anyways, if you guys can recommend something, I am open, and I will have to get this done. I mean, we'll see, because if I do get emissions done on this one, then probably I will push that, you know, because I want to drive this car pretty much to the ground. And it is at 300,000 miles now, like 280 to 90, something like that. So there's not much left in it. It's unreasonable to, you know, to expect the car to drive for, you know, 400,000 miles. The benefit of, you know, living here in Georgia, the cars don't rust as much, right? So the maintenance is a lot easier if you don't have the, you know, layers of rust on your car, and it doesn't break as much. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. That's why I like this place, or one of the reasons I like this place. I also like that it's nice and green, and the winter is very short, all that stuff. I like the climate, I like this scenery. I'm not complaining. Okay, now let's see. Okay, I need to get some tips. Oh, I should have. Okay, doesn't matter. I should have blown some hot air on it before applying, you know, before tinning, because it's a lot easier that way, especially on the ground here. Okay, now let's put it on. Alright, did you guys hear that Muda responded to the criticism? That's crazy. I don't know what his argument actually is, but if he doesn't care, I don't care either. I just clicked unsubscribe and do not recommend the channel, and may he be successful. I don't care. You know why I did that? I don't know what your opinion on the situation is, but from nothing it just grew to significant, right? Which it didn't need to. And the response expected was like, are you a pathological liar? Do you have a job other than YouTube? But that was not answered, and it was just brushed off. So that kind of, I think, says that no, I don't have another job, and I am a pathological liar, which is too bad. You know, I think a lot of people just feel betrayed. I was never really a big fan, but as I said before, I found it really, really impressive that, you know, someone with millions of subscribers just goes to the office every day and does his job, and then cuts a short video after work and grows to this kind of fame and this kind of level. I mean, people say that if you started in like 2015 or whatever, and that everybody who did anything became successful on YouTube because it was just that time, right? Maybe that is the case, but still, it's still impressive, very impressive to me. I probably wouldn't, if I ever, hypothetically, if I ever grown to say 5 million subscribers, right? And actually, subscribers, that doesn't really mean much, right? That is a meaningless number after 1,000, because you don't get paid for subscribers, you get paid for views. So if I would ever grow to the point where I get, say, 200,000 views on a single upload, right? I imagine that's a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars a month. I imagine I would still work the full-time job, but if you do that, right, if you still work full-time job having this many views, then obviously your content is not gonna be as good as it would be if you treat YouTube as your full-time job, right? So you put more effort in the videos, perhaps, well, depending on what you do, maybe better research, maybe, what have you, better equipment, scripting, like hire a whole bunch of people and that kind of stuff, right? But that's the YouTube fame. It can fade very quickly, and if your only job is YouTube, then that's kind of scary. Unless the magnitude of your success is so staggering, so so huge that we just did couple years of YouTube and you're set for life, right? You invested in something and you just live off the interest rate, right? Sure, then you can just say, okay, it was a good run, it's over, but I'm good. And then you look for a job or something, right? These are all good problems to have, I kind of wouldn't mind having problems like that, but I don't think, our in our genre, right, the repair community, there are no channels that grow to millions. I mean, yeah, you could say Louis Rossmann, sure, but as you can see, he doesn't really do repairs anymore, right? So that's number one. Number two, he's been around for so long that you can't really replicate his success anymore, because these were different times when he got his big break, right? So typically, in our line of business, we don't really look for a success at that magnitude, right? Few 100,000 subscribers and 20 to maybe 70,000 views on an upload. In my view, that is a great success, and I don't think we even should aim any higher than that, because that's a really good numbers in my view. Or at least I wouldn't aim any higher than that, right? I would say that would be a pinnacle of my success if these were the numbers that I pull in. But I'm still very satisfied with the numbers I do pull, because too much success too quickly, that's also not that great, right? I get enough numbers or my numbers are high enough to give me enough customers, enough exposure, right? Enough work, so I can pull it off all by myself, right? If suddenly I started getting 50 ECMs a day, I would not be able to get that done, and I wouldn't want to have the wait times of months or even weeks, So, you might call it a good problem to have, but I'm not quite, at the moment, I'm not quite equipped to even handle such a problem. That's why whenever people are sending me emails with offers to to grow my channel, right, to improve this and that so I get more views, I don't even respond to those emails. I think I have said it on more than one occasion, but people still keep sending them to me, which, thank you, I appreciate it, but I said it so many times that I'm not interested, that don't waste your time. And I have my reasons that I also reiterated a few times why I prefer slow growth, and that works for me. Okay, let's take a closer look. What do we have here? Okay, so this side is good. The ground looks pretty good, I think. On this side there's a little, yeah, I'm just gonna correct that. It's not a big deal, right? It'll work, it's fine. It just doesn't look good. That's the only problem here. And I like when my chips look like this, right? Every single pin the same amount of solder, or at least perceivably, and nice and shiny. Ground, well, ground looks pretty good. Typically it's the hardest part to get the ground. Alright. Even with this crappy tip, although that bent tip is a lot better than the chisel tip that I use for desoldering and wicking, I have to get more of these. But those 245 are really, really good. I still sometimes, like I did at PS5 recently, I had to switch the tip to 210 because it's just too big to work with those pins. So there is a limit. I mean, obviously you probably wouldn't use 245 to work on the phones or any kind of tiny electronics like this. So maybe tomorrow I'll do the shopping. I use, or at least I used to, because now I just get pretty much everything from AliExpress, but I used to use a lot the Union Repair, but they do kind of specialize in phone repair, so there's plenty of tools for phone repair, but the tools and equipment and all kinds of stuff like flux and solder and all that, that's kind of universal, right? And I finally gotta get to that laptop, the CPU swap. Definitely I gotta do it either today or tomorrow. We'll see. Alright, I think this is done. Looks good. Beautiful. Alrighty, that'll do. One down, one to go. I'll do the other one later today, and I'll probably get to that laptop today as well, and we'll see. Sunday off. What do you think? Shall we get Sunday off? Nah. If the man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. I believe in that. And when you're young and capable of work, you just kind of don't want to work, right? But then you get older and then you can't work. And
enough information for me to help. Please give me a specific topic or question about work.
Why did this turn on? So the Google keeps listening to you. No, well, that's the technology. What are you gonna do? Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.